It's Cindy and Sonia reunited once again.
In Baltimore. She came to sing with me at Beitikva. We did some songs at the High Holiday service. We did a song that I wrote called Mika Mocha, which is a song about my visit to Israel during the last Lebanon war. And Cindy came up with some beautiful harmonies for it.
Is there a possible Disappear Fear reunion tour in the works?
No. You never know.
Never know.
Well,
at this time, there's nothing set up, as far as I know. Right?
Yeah, but
You know, one of the songs that I was listening to, it sounded like it was almost a diss on Baltimore. It sounded like you had a little bit of a negative, prejudicial experience here.
Oh, and the song Who's So Scared?
Yes.
Well, actually, that part of the song I didn't write. But I was drawn to the song because of the word. That part of the song is a poem that was written by a Harlem Renaissance poet named County Cullen, who's from Harlem, New York, and visited Baltimore in 1938, and visited his aunt who lived here and had his first experience of racism. The poem is called Incident, and I found that poem and I put it into a musical song and then added my own verses to it.
So what would draw you to come back to live here after you've been all over the world?
Well, originally we had thought about basing Disappear Fear in London because our first publishing deal was with a London publishing company, and it had presence in the U.S., but it was stronger there. But we were already gigging here, and we had family here, and I'm happy that I've had this opportunity to be here because a few weeks ago my grandmother turned 100. So when I'm off the road, I get to see people in my family, and before Cindy and the children moved out to Texas and then Seattle, it was a real coming home kind of place for me. We bought a house here, so you know, it's and I love it. It's a quirky, weird. I guess I'll call it everybody's weird, and that's normal.
Where do you get the inspiration for your songs? And could you give a specific example where events inspired you to write a specific song?
Inspiration everywhere. Basically, I love making music, and if I'm near a guitar or a table, I'm going to be, doing that. I just completed 14 songs for a musical. It's called Small House, No Secrets, and it'll be developed up in Provincetown next summer.
What about the Sirius radio program that you said you're going to be recording soon, a live concert?
Yes.
Where is that going to be taking place?
It'll be taking place at XM Studios in Washington, D.C., and I don't know the release date. It will be, I'll try and get it for you.
Your music has been described as world music or contemporary folk. Are there Baltimore or Washington stations that specialize in playing that kind of music?
Not as much as I wish. Mary Cliff has a show on WETA on Sunday nights. WTMD does play contemporary music. It's not like, there's not a whole lot of that happening. I believe Paul Hartman has a show of folk music, but it's hard to, it's like a 2-hour show or maybe even a 3 or 4 hour show, but it's hard to, there's not a station that's really dedicated to that. Although Sirius XM has the show called The Village, which is great. And my music really will push into some different categories. The new CD that I'm recording is a blues CD, and so the songs that I'll be doing live that day for that concert will be new songs that have never been heard. Wait, one more thing about the blues thing. I am doing it. It will come out in January. That's when the official release of the blues CD, and it's going to be called Blood, Bones, in Baltimore.
So can I get you to go back a little bit to that impromptu session of the blues music that you were going to perform? That was pretty good, actually.
That will be what I'm going to be recording at the Sirius XM interview.
You've shared the stage with some rock legends, including Joan Baez, Pete Seeger, John Prine, and many others. Did you get to hang out?
Totally. John Prine I love. I met backstage. I kept breaking guitar strings. I had a performance at the High Sierra Music Festival in Yosemite in California, and it was a really humid day. So John went around back, and John Prine was playing next, and he was the headliner, and he had an arsenal of guitars. He had maybe 10 guitars. So we were just, Howard said, "Can I borrow one of these?" So when I gave it back to him, we were, talking about how humid it was, and thank you so much, and he's cool. I've met John on different occasions. I love his songwriting, what an amazing guy. And he's just real. I mean, what you see on stage is what you get. He's not fake at all. Another really fun guitar exchanging experience was with Billy Bragg. At the Winnipeg Folk Festival, he borrowed one of my guitars because he was breaking strings. and when I tried to give it back to him, we were kind of connected. I think my dreads were in his earring, or it was like we couldn't part, which was nice for Marvin. Couldn't separate, so that was fun. Pete Seeger, Pete's great. He loves corn. We were eating about 6 ears of corn one night, sharing. His wife Toshi cut him off. It was like a 6 piece of corn on the cob. And she's like, "That is it, Pete. You're not eating any more corn."
But I have a beautiful photograph that Jim Marshall took of Peter, Paul, and Mary that he signed and gave me as a gift. That's a beautiful picture. And I have another one that he gave me too of Cass Elliot, the famous one in the hotel room.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim Marshall, amazing.
Awesome guy.
I love him. Love you, Jim.
Do you ever think that there's times when people do compromise those qualities, let's say integrity for one, not because they intend to, but just because that's the way the world is?
No. I think that's a choice. I think maybe we deaden ourselves to what we don't want to face. And if we're willing to face it, we will have a much more worthwhile result of aliveness. And that will make the world more satisfying. That will make everyone's life experiences more satisfying. To live into that as opposed to an easy way out. You can't really confuse that with a long-term goal. A long-term goal may take you down roads you didn't think you were going to have to go down to get to, but you do. And they're not always easy, but they're worth it because every moment is important. It's interesting. We were talking about the Torah reading this week, and it's everyone has their own opinion of God, the sacrifice that didn't happen with Isaac and Abraham. A lot of information, but basically my feeling is that if we are the extension of God's eyes and God's hands, then it's up to us to move that forward the best way we can. That's what it is.
What advice do you have to somebody who's trying to break into the music business, somebody who would like to leave a career behind? And
be true to your talent would be the main thing. Be true to what it is that you find your voice and stay with and say whatever it is, whatever the instrument is, or writing. Find that and let that come through you. That's why you're here. Find who you are. Don't just imitate something else. Not that it doesn't hurt to try a lot of different things and learn what they're doing. But be willing to find it, be quiet to hear what your own voice is and figure out what that is. I don't think there's anything really to figure out with that. I think it sort of presents itself to you.
And what about naysayers, people who say, "Oh, okay, maybe you are talented, but you're never going to make it"? How do you tune them out?
Well, didn't they say that Einstein failed math in the 3rd grade? I wasn't allowed into my orchestra group when I auditioned in the 4th grade, and yet I've been making a living at it for 20 years. So, you got to do what you think. You got to tune into your own heart. That's where the best answers are. I have lots of doubt and lots of insecurity, but you can't let that be the thing that guides you, because then all of those things will materialize. You just have to kind of thank your brain and your insecurities for sharing and move forward with what you know. There's a lot of no's sometimes before yes, but there'll be yes, because you're here. More love, more honesty, more integrity. Supercharged.